Hi there, this is a question from 2016 exam 2 from the geometry and trigonometry section. This is question 3b. So the tournament begins on Thursday at 6:32 AM in St Andrews, Scotland. Many people in Melbourne will want to watch the tournament live on television. Assume that the difference between Melbourne and St Andrews with those coordinates is 10 hours. On what day and what time will the tournament begin in Melbourne? So the most important thing here is that they've actually given you the time difference, which is 10 hours. If they didn't give you that time difference, you could use that 15 degrees is worth 1 hour and then work out the time difference. But they've saved some time here by giving you that. And plus, because it's only a 1 mark question. If it was 2 marks, 1 mark would probably be worth finding out what the time difference is. So with questions with latitude, longitude, I think it's a really good idea that you try to visually represent it. It makes it a lot easier to try and represent what it looks like, and it can find little things in the questions that can help you answer it. So what I'm doing, just north, south, east, west, put the center in, and let's make it a 3D shape. So there's our world there. So what we need to do is put these 2 points in onto our sphere. If we take the straight down the middle, in this case, let's use this as our prime meridian line, which is 0 degrees. And then we can go east and west of that line, and it will make it a lot easier to see where this question is going. So the first point is 38 degrees south and 145 degrees east. So let's put 145 degrees east. So this is 145 degrees east of the prime meridian line. And down here, also place in that it's 38 degrees south. 38 degrees south, we can place there. We can draw up around. There we go. So our first location that we have is Melbourne, which is down here at 38 degrees south and 145 degrees east. Our next point is St Andrews, which is 3 degrees west. So if we go west of the prime meridian line, so 3 degrees west, and this one is 56 degrees north. So if we just place up here about 56 degrees north, and then 56 degrees north, middle of the circle, we can go around like so, and then we can place in our second point is here. So they're the 2 locations, and we've been told that there's 10 hours difference between these 2 locations. Now the reason why we draw it out is because we can visualize, and if you can remember something as simple as the sun goes from the east to the west. So in this case, the sun's going to come around, the sun's going to rise in Melbourne first, and then 10 hours later, the sun's going to go around and it's going to hit Scotland, and it's going to rise 10 hours later. So if we say that right now it's 6:32 AM in Scotland. So that means that the sun is approximately rising right then. So if we think the sun goes from east to west, that means the sun rose 10 hours ago in Melbourne. So that means that it's been 10 hours since the sun's risen. So Melbourne's current time is 10 hours after this time. So if we can work down what 10 hours is from here, simple little things you can do is to break it down into little parts. It's 4 hours to get to 10:32 AM. To get to 12:32 AM, it's another 2 hours. PM, because it's gone over the 12. So that's a total of 6. We need 4 more hours to get to the 10, which would put us at 4:32 PM. Now, with this, if it's in the morning, it hasn't been longer than 24 hours, and it would be different if it was 6:32 PM here. We probably would have already gone over the 12 AM. So this is actually currently still on the same day, which is the Thursday. So the question is, on what day and what time will the tournament begin in Melbourne? The answer is 4:32 on the Thursday, or 4:32 p.m. on the same day. As I said, that if this was in the PM and the sun's gone dark, it's going around the next day to rise again, which if that would put it onto the Friday. But the question said 6:32 a.m., so it's gone 10 hours on that same day. And as it said, if you can remember, sun goes from east across to west, and you can break down in little parts how much and to get 10 hours to the time. Let's check the assessor's comments. And assessor's comments say 4:32 p.m. on the Thursday. Only 37% of the cohort managed to get this question correct. And it says in here that some people just didn't go the right direction, so they, instead of added 10 hours, they took 10 hours off. So that is it's a little bit of a tricky question. But if you can break it down visually, hopefully that can help that the sun goes from east to west, and you can break down the time into little sections. Hopefully this helped.